It is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026, and I have a massive stack of articles and notes to share with you today. There is no specific order to these updates, but every single one of them points directly to what is happening with our economy and where interest rates might be heading. Fed Chief Kevin Warsh recently declined to hint at the upcoming July rate decision, but he explicitly noted that inflation remains far too high. Before the markets opened this morning, we saw the Dow plunging in futures trading, but as soon as the opening bell rang, another financial miracle took place. The market completely reversed course, bouncing from deep red to green and sitting up about 60 points. It is incredibly interesting how often we see the futures getting absolutely hammered pre-market, only for everything to mysteriously return to normal the moment retail trading begins. This brings me to the mystery surrounding Fed Chief Kevin Warsh and what he will actually do next. My prediction is that he will implement 2 or 3 25 basis point hikes in an attempt to look tough on inflation, before doing exactly what every central banker eventually does. He will pivot, reverse course, slash interest rates, and start printing massive amounts of money to prop up the system. When that inevitable policy reversal happens, we are going to see some serious trouble because that pivot will mark the ultimate demise of the US dollar. On the flip side, it is going to be an incredibly powerful environment for precious metals. Looking at the markets today, gold is already up about $55, and silver has jumped by around $139, showing early signs of strength. I know there are plenty of skeptics on social media claiming that gold and silver are bound to collapse, and that the recent run is officially over. What those people fail to realize is that absolutely nothing in our structural economy has been fixed. Our national debts are massive. The deficits are exploding, and real inflation is significantly worse than the official government numbers are leading us to believe. Why would gold and silver collapse when physical demand is skyrocketing and central banks, especially China, are buying up metals at record-shattering numbers? We have to stop basing our entire economic outlook on highly manipulated paper prices. The smart money and the strong hands are backing up the physical trucks right now, ignoring the paper algorithm sell-offs. Consider the sheer disparity in the silver market. In an average year, more than 5 billion ounces of silver are traded on paper, yet the entire world only mines about 820 million physical ounces. With nearly $40 trillion in national debt, and closer to $200 trillion when you factor in unfunded liabilities, the mathematical reality favors hard assets over a dying fiat currency. Switching over to the labor market, the ADP employment report just dropped, marking its 12th straight month of job gains, but it fell notably short of expectations. Wall Street anticipated the U.S. economy would add 120,000 jobs, but the actual print came in at just 98,000. It makes you wonder how many of those recorded positions were actually just part-time jobs. Historically, it's usually more than half. Honestly, do any of you actually believe the official data we are being fed regarding jobs, unemployment, inflation, or housing? Personally, I don't believe a single bit of it, because the metrics are heavily manipulated to paint a false picture of economic health. Meanwhile, the 10-year bond yield is quietly creeping up today, getting dangerously close to the 4.5% threshold, away from the tickers. The nation's infrastructure is facing a major crisis as the largest U.S. power grid teetered on the verge of cracking under a historic heat dome. Millions of households and businesses are cranking up their air conditioners to stay cool, forcing the PJM interconnection grid to declare an emergency. It has cooled down slightly here in the south today, but this weekend is expected to bring brutal, triple-digit temperatures across the country. This grid fragility raises a massive red flag. If our electricity grid is already declaring emergencies under temporary summer heat, what happens when all these massive AI data centers are fully built out? We are heading toward a serious resource bottleneck. Please make sure you are staying hydrated, checking on your neighbors, and taking care of yourselves out there. In corporate news, McDonald's customers are furious after discovering a rather shady, hidden upcharge on a classic menu item. The fast food giant has implemented a temporary additional fee of $1.79 for a Happy Meal, essentially charging parents extra for the toy that used to be standard. Personally, I haven't eaten the food there in 5 years because of how toxic and overpriced it is, but it shows how corporations are sneaking in hidden costs. If you live out west, Your wallet is taking another direct hit today as the California gas tax officially increased just in time for the 4th of July weekend. It went up another 2.2 cents, bringing the state's total tax to a staggering 63 cents per gallon. While politicians always frame it as just a few pennies, those incremental hikes add up over time to heavily drain the average consumer. When you break down the math, a 20-gallon fill-up in California now means you are throwing over $12 directly into government taxes before you even pay for the actual fuel. It is no wonder people are packing up and fleeing the state. Between the exorbitant taxes, the loss of freedoms, and the deteriorating cities, the leadership out there is actively running a beautiful state into the ground. In tech sector news, the white-collar layoff trend continues as Microsoft announced plans for thousands of job cuts, impacting just under 2.5% of its workforce. These layoffs are targeting sales, consulting, and the Xbox gaming division. Day after day, we are seeing lists of corporate layoffs, retail liquidations, and restaurant closures that could easily fill a 2-hour broadcast. Simultaneously, the automotive industry is suffering a massive blow to consumer trust, with Ford recalling over 741,000 SUVs and pickup trucks due to a transmission defect that raises rollaway risks. This massive recall impacts 2018 to 2021 model years for Ford Expeditions, Explorers, F-150s, and Lincoln Navigators. It seems like you have to drop $100,000 for a new truck these days, yet the quality remains absolute garbage. We have reached a point where vehicles are packed with so many microchips and complex electronics that they resemble Christmas tree lights. When one small chip fails, the entire system goes down. If you are in the market for a reliable vehicle, my advice is to look for a 2020 or older model, or stick to an older, reliable Toyota Corolla or Camry that bypasses all this over-engineered nonsense. Ultimately, the Federal Reserve is trapped in an impossible dilemma. They are stuck at a crossroads where they must choose between saving the US dollar or saving the stock market. Raising rates strengthens the dollar but crushes the economy, while cutting rates juices the stock market but triggers devastating hyperinflation. Prepare your finances for a messy ride, protect your wealth, and God bless you all.